Hello, and today I want to talk to you about conservatism, and to do this I'm going to be breaking up into three different sections. First section is going to be the misconceptions of conservatism, and this is going to be a relatively short one, right? Second is going to be about what conservatism is in terms of all the conservatives agreeing with it. And then the third one's going to be what my opinion of conservatism is, because there seems to be a divergence nowadays within the Conservative Party, because you do see some different conservative ideologies. And specifically, there is the misidentification of conservatives, that they are purely religious. Which, again, when I'm talking about different conservative ideologies, you do have very religious conservatives, right? You do have your orthodox or your fundamentalists, right, that are in the conservative group, while you also do have atheists in the conservative group. So there's those. That's what I mean by different ideologies. But there is a view that all conservatives are just atheists, that they are all racist, bigots, homophobes, everything in between, right? And that they're fascists and dictators. Those are the main names that are being thrown out there nowadays. If you say you're a conservative, you're going to be called a racist, right? You wear a Trump hat, which even Trump's not a full-on conservative. He's getting more and more conservative, but if you wear a Trump hat, you're immediately labeled a conservative or alt-right, and you're a bigot. Okay, cool. Whatever. We'll put that one to the side. Now, the issue here comes in the fact that, as I was stating, is conservatism has a lot of different people inside of it. You have people which are incredibly religious, who believe in a variety of different views, such as Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Sikh, everything in between. You have your atheists as well. Anything that is a religion, I'm sure there's at least one conservative there. The second issue is that people say that conservatives are racist, bigots, homophobes, right? And one of the biggest points I want to point to is just look at the 2016 election, in which you look at the Democrats that were running and the Republicans that were running at the very start, and then tell me that they're racist, right? Especially in the 2020 elections for the House, there were, I believe, all new seats gained were all female. Maybe wrong there, but at least 5 or so seats were gained were female. But again, conservatives are just bigots, we don't like women. But, alright, so let's put that one to the side. The other one is that homophobes. I hate to break it to you, but there are homosexuals that are conservative. But, conservatives are homophobes. Okay. And I think all conservatives would agree in some way, shape, or form that when it comes down to it, the federal government should have no right in marriage in general. So if homosexuals can get married, all right, go ahead, right? I think they should just respect whatever institution that they go to. If a church says they don't want to marry 2 men, all right, they can find a different one. But whatever. So, final point is going to be the fascist point, that conservatives are fascist or authoritarian, but conservatives as a whole, and this is what I'm going to be talking about for what their viewpoints are in total that everyone can agree about, is that the federal government should go away. Not completely, but should be incredibly limited and not be as intrusive as it is nowadays. And that the federal government shouldn't be able to decide marriage. It should not be in the business of marriage at all. The federal government should also be doing anything that's related for income tax, for example. Unless it's provided by the United States Constitution, and please go read that for yourself, the federal government should be incredibly limited. So there is that. I think all conservatives can agree with that. Another point that I think conservatives can agree with is that government, and the more where each place should be different and where laws should be decided, is at a state and local level. Especially your communities, the towns that you're in, the cities that you're in, should decide what the laws are. Because if that's the case, and you take this example, or let's say we have California, that they want to ban all guns within the premises that they can for the United States Constitution. Right? I'm not saying straight out ban guns, but more like registration and increase ammo tax and all that jazz. If they want to do that, and they want to allow gay marriage and allow all drugs, even though that's more of an Oregon point, all right, cool. Let them go for that. That's a California issue that they want to do. congrats. But then let's say Texas is on the complete 180. So they go, all right, so anyone can get a gun. Don't even have to get it registered. You just walk in there, boom, here's $100. Give me that bad little pistol that you have right there. Cool. Whatever. Awesome. I know guns aren't $100. Well, depending on the gun, some used ones can be, but whatever. And then they say all drugs are going to be banned. Does it matter? And then the final point that they want to say is, all right, and then we don't want any gay marriage at all. Cool, let Texas do that. And then finally you have New York, which says, hey, gay marriage is cool, but we don't want drugs. And then there's some gun restrictions. All right, cool. What's beautiful about America is you should be able to choose where you want to live. So you can go between and say, hey, I want to live here, I want to live there, I want to live there, and you can keep swapping all between, right? You're allowed to choose where you want to go because the federal government isn't forcing you to do things that you don't agree with, right? I feel if the federal government forces a specific ideology down upon its people, then it leads for a very bad time. So I think in general, conservatives can agree with that. Now, where I differ from other conservatives is that I do think that, in general, let states choose what they want to do, but even let go down straight to the little nitpickies, right? Let every community choose what it wants to do at a very extreme level. In that, I think even states allowing and deciding marriage is wrong, but if a state wants to do it, they can't do it. That's why there's a states' rights talk that was happening at the start when at our nation's founding with the Articles of Confederation that occurred, and that some people say that the Civil War was purely about slavery, but it was also about states' rights. But I also think that it should just be down to the person as well, because the further away you are from your community, from the people that you live with, your neighbors, the less and less that they're going to know about you. So your mayor is going to have a better idea of the needs for your city or town, but it's not going to know what you need as a family. And same thing for a governor. They are going to have some clues on what the state as a whole needs. However, they may neglect one side or another. For example, the governor in Nevada is often going to focus more on Las Vegas's needs, because that's where the population is at, over the needs of, let's say, Elko County or Reno itself, Carson City, whatever it may be. So I think in general, states should even be limited in what they can and can't do. And it should come down to a community base, town base, or even cities. Break it up into suburbs based on what they want. And some conservatives say, well, we don't want that. We want it more on a state-based issues. And again, there's some differences there, right? But in general, I think all conservatives, again, would agree on the federal government should be out of the business of being in our lives. The other part too is, I think that the conservatism, you have this weird point where the argument of religion coming into involved. We were founded as a country on Judeo-Christian values, and I think all conservatives can agree upon that. It is very important to get into where we are at. The big issue here is that you have some conservatives that are trying to push, let's say, prayer into school, in every facet of school. And that's why I'm a big proponent of school choice, because while I do think public schools should be devoid of it, if a private school wishes to do that, by all means, that's why the more choice, the better. It should be a community thing. You should be able to choose what you want to do with your kids' education. Either have them homeschooled, go to a private school, go to a charter school, go to a public school, or whatever other option there may or may not be. And yet I do know some conservatives, and it does confuse me a little bit, where they wish to see religion in all schools, for example. Or they wish to see gay marriage banned flat out within the state, and yet they get upset when their state allows gay marriage at the time when that was a topic. Or marijuana, recreational marijuana being a topic nowadays, where they believe that marijuana should not be recreational, and yet they would want it flat out banned. It's just two sides of the same coin. It shouldn't be an issue for either of the states to decide. It should be down at the local level. If a town wants to do that, and then by all means. But in general, as I'm coming to an end here, conservatism is basically this. The federal government does a lot of things bad. A lot of people say that the federal government should do healthcare, for example. I think that's a terrible idea. Look over towards the military, for example. The VA is terribly run, even though it's slightly getting improved, but a vast majority of military personnel would say that their free medical care kind of sucks. But okay, moving on from there, federal government sucks in that the power should be delegated to at least the states in some way, shape, or form. And I think the lower the power is delegated, the better. Let communities decide what they want their community to be, and the people can change in between. Instead of letting the higher up it goes, the more detached they are from the common man and woman, and it's just a bad time if they get to choose what's going on. Either way, let me know down in the comments what you think conservative is. Tell me what you disagree with, because everyone does have a difference of opinion. And thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and be safe out there.